Good morning, everybody. Super excited. Now let me find my lesson for today and let's get in here. Super exciting. I love Friday mornings. Let me know that you're out there. Please, if you're out there, chat with me so I know I'm not sitting here by myself talking to myself. Go ahead and tell me you're here and tell me, please, what is good? What is good? What's going on? What makes you super happy today? What are you excited about? Let me know and I will get going. Thank you for showing up. As you know, we meet here every Friday morning at 9 a.m. and we huddle together to learn tips of happiness. And when we know better, we do better. So I'm super excited. I get very excited about Friday morning because I always learn something new myself, and I hope that you all learn something new too. So good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Leah and Karen. AJ, wow, the sun is shining. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Let me get into this one. I always have so much information and I barely have time to get through it all, but I am always just want to get you as much valuable information as I can, but also want you to have time to practice it because just telling you it isn't enough. We meet here every Friday consistently so that you consistently have something to practice. And when you practice consistently, it becomes a habit. So hi, Robin. Hi, Angie. Thank you all. Let's get going. As you know, I really want you to have a piece of paper, take notes, and also because you're going to always have some little exercise to do. So today, my friends, somebody said, wow, this is super zen. Your worst enemy is your greatest ally. And I was like, wait, maybe they think that I'm going to talk about like the person that is the most challenging in your life and how they're going to, you can learn something from them and it's some sort of reflection about you. And I'm like, that's not what it's about. So this might be a surprise for you. Your worst enemy, my friends, is, here it comes. You ready? That little voice in your head. And that little voice in your head is also your greatest ally. Like think of this little voice in your head as it's not two people, it's just one. And it's all kinds of different voice. It has different voices, but it's really just one voice. And you can tame that voice. You can tell that voice what to say, and what you say is what you're going to do. So it's super important that you become super self-aware of it and that you can change it. So let me tell you a little bit about the little voice in your head. It's not just reading your grocery list or reading back what you're reading in a book or telling you what kind of pizza that you want. It is also trying to make sense of what's happening around you and give it meaning and then help you have direction into what you should do next. But the thing is that we have an old world brain in this new world. So we are conditioned because of our old tribal ancestors who were always looking out for the tiger, and they were always trying to fit in with their group and make sure that they weren't doing anything that would get them kicked out of the tribe. That they were always looking for the negative and trying to stay ahead of it. Well, we don't have those problems today. They're called paper tigers in our world. And so what I want you to know is there are different reasons that we have this voice. So I'm going to go through it quickly because there's three different ways that that voice shows up. One is through logic. And logic is where you're trying to figure how to guide through knowledge or statistics or consequences or experiences, whether they're your own or someone else's, where you're thinking, okay, well, if I leave early, I'm going to have to wait for them. So if I leave a little bit later, then I won't have to wait for them. So that's just using logic and trying to figure things out without any judgment or without any worry. It's just sort of an equation, which is fine. And then there's intuition, which is driven by emotions or that gut feeling. And of course, now they're starting to say that your gut is the original brain before we actually had created this prefrontal cortex in our brain. And then our gut really has a lot more knowledge than we give it credit for. And so the gut is really telling you, it's giving you a hint of what you're going to feel like after you make that choice. And so it's doing a little bit more rumination on it. And then there's the ego. And we know that the ego is the most challenging part, because that's the part of the mind that's looking for approval and attention. And it's trying to guide us through, most of the time, superficial aspects of a situation, or it's guiding us through old beliefs that we built. And I have past huddles that talk about old beliefs and how to change old beliefs. Remember, this is number 17. So we've been doing this every single week since the beginning of the year. That is a lot of information. They're all half an hour, super quick to get in and get out. If you're watching this on Facebook Live or Instagram, you can just go to Happier by the Minute, scroll to the bottom of the first page, join the Happy Huddle, and you can get it. It's all free. And then you can see all the past episodes. There's so many great lessons. So anyway, we talk a lot about changing those old beliefs in another one. So the challenge is that ego gives us so much bad information. We have like 70,000 thoughts a day, and so many times we've been conditioned to believe negative things, and we talk to ourselves horribly, and we say, what makes you think you can do that? And you don't look good enough, and you're not smart enough, and what makes you think that that they're going to like you, or that they're going to want you, or they're going to want to be around you? Those things are just words. They're just words. They don't even mean anything. We give meaning to them. And the problem is that those negative sentences, those negative words, are really just a bad habit. So we have to figure out how to change those. And that is, I struggle sometimes to come up with some new lesson, and really they're kind of the same thing. And if every week all I'm doing is helping you become more self-aware of the negative voice and giving you more tools to change it, then that's okay. That is so important. That is life-changing. So let's get into some ways. So you can train your brain to think differently. And part of it is making the unfamiliar familiar, like being negative and looking for the negative and complaining, and I hate my job, and I hate the weather, and this traffic sucks. We're used to those things, and it's familiar. So we have to look for that unfamiliar, which is, I love traffic, or look at all the things that I can do when I'm sitting in traffic. I can listen to the radio, and I can talk to my friends, and I can listen to some TED Talks, or I can listen to a book and learn something new. So you have to train your brain to think differently. And I put this in this Bart Simpson, and I thought it was funny. I will not obey the voices in my head. And then I didn't even like the picture because it was so negative. And so I was like, oh, I gotta, I always want to train your brain to even see things differently. What are those pictures that you have in your brain? So don't even have a picture of a negative Bart Simpson, but have a picture of all these little lights firing up in your brain. And this is called neuroplasticity, and it's very big now. People are really studying it, saying you can change your brain. They're even doing research with people with cerebral palsy, and so part of their brain isn't working, and so they're really just trying to say, okay, don't use that part of the brain. We don't even use all of our brain. Let's fire up the other side. Let's train it. Let's teach it to do what this side used to do. So it is unbelievable what is happening. But the simplest, smallest thing that you can take away today is that we really can change the neural pathways, and all that negative self-talk. It can be changed, but it is a practice. And that's why we meet every week. And that's why we have affirmations and daily lessons. And there's one lesson about 8 to great, which are, what are the 8 things we have to do every day to have a great day? And what's game on? What's your morning rituals? So they're daily things that you can learn to change those pathways, but you have to do them daily. And then I even give you ways to remember how to do them daily. So, one of the things we have to remember is that we give everything meaning. When you're sitting in traffic, you give it meaning. I just heard something today, just this morning, I just got a text that, somebody's really unhappy about this thing that she has to go to later today, this meeting that she has to go to, and it interferes with her day. And I was like, gosh, and the person that's texting me is getting wrapped up in that story, and everybody's getting wrapped up in this story. And I was like, everybody on this text, and even that person who's getting upset, gives it meaning about that meeting later today. And she can change, even if she can't change not going to the meeting, she can change the way she thinks about the meeting. And we can all think about the way she's thinking about the way she's thinking about the meeting. And so I didn't get wrapped up in that spiral negative spin of, oh, that's so terrible. And, oh, I'm so sorry for her that she has to go to that meeting. And, oh, no, I can think of all the great reasons that meeting is going to be good. And, it's taking her away from something early, but we give that meaning. Maybe that last 10 minutes of the thing she's leaving isn't as valuable as the new thing she's going to. It is all about what you tell yourself. And so if you have to go to that meeting, radical acceptance, don't decide that it's something bad. You can decide that it's something valuable, and then you just accept it. And then my favorite, that might be a Buddhist philosophy, but Stacey's philosophy is, and now what? Accept it. Don't start going in the spin of it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. Now what? You're going to the meeting. Now what? It's taking you away from the other thing. Now what? Okay, I can choose how I feel about it. I can choose to see the positive things about it. I can choose to then even look at things. It's funny. I had a friend who was just going and getting a root canal the other day, and she texted me and she's like, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And I said, you stop telling yourself that right now. Start repeating to yourself, I love getting a root canal. It is going to go so easily. It is going to go easier than I expected. I'm going to leave there going, I can't believe that was easier than I expected. That was faster than I expected. It really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I'll tell you, I actually do that. I had a root canal once, and I went in and I said, this is awesome. I'm super excited to be here having a root canal. You're fixing something that needs to be fixed. If I weren't fixing it, would be getting worse. And I actually fell asleep during it. And I was laughing before I fell asleep. I was laughing with the dentist and telling him, about something I had heard earlier. And so it is just about what you tell yourself. And I'm not saying that as soon as I told my friend that she walked into the dentist and was like, oh my God, that was the easiest root canal ever. It takes practice. It takes practice. It takes practice. But it was less painful than it would have been if she was like, oh my God, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Right? So keep talking to yourself. Keep telling yourself things are not as horrible as you think they're going to be. Okay, I go on a rant. Okay, this is really big. That we have a stimulus. I have to go to this meeting. I'm having a root canal. And then we have a reaction. Our body starts to get upset. We start to think all these negative thoughts. And what we really need to do is add a pause. We have to pause between the stimulus and the reaction, because that's where the magic happens. That's where the magic happens. That's where you can say to yourself, whoop, 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 nope, no, not going down that path. Not going to tell myself how horrible it is. I am going to do something different. So I have a tool for you. This is called the rubber band technique. I thought I was so brilliant coming up with this. And then when I went to research it, I realized, okay, it's really called the rubber band technique. So I'm not the only one that thinks of it, but put a rubber band on your wrist and today, and I mean today, don't just say you'll do it tomorrow, today, put this on. And when you start to have a negative thought, and you can use this around anything, like not wanting to do, clean up your dishes, or not wanting to exercise, or trying to quit sugar or smoking, or any bad habit, picking your nails, whatever it is, any bad habit, you can use this rubber band technique, because what it is it's causing the pause between the stimulus and the reaction. And so as soon as you have that negative thought, I hate going to these meetings, bam, hit yourself with that rubber band, because it's going to shock your system, and it's going to say, whoop, wait a minute, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm shocking my system. And now, so again, it snaps you back into the present moment. So you consciously choose This is all about living consciously. It's all about waking up and being self-aware. It's all about knowing. And by the way, since you're on this, now you know, you cannot unknow that you have the power of choice. You just do. You really do. Okay, so now what do you do after you snap the rubber band? I'm really big into a replacement thought. I don't think you can just snap the rubber band and tell yourself, stop thinking those thoughts, stop being upset, stop being negative towards yourself, stop. It's not enough. You need to have a replacement thought. And so for me, I have a ton of personal mantras, but I also talk about the vision. Like if I start getting upset because something at work is really stressful, or somebody that I'm working with is being really negative, I don't go down that rabbit hole. I say, what's my vision for my day? What's my vision for my life? Where do I want to go with this? I don't go back over here and go backwards and fall into that pit. I really just say, what's my vision? My vision is that I'm grateful, that I have affirmations, and I'm thinking about the meditation. When can I fit that meditation in later? And how can I spread seeds of kindness today? Where can I just make people happy? You know what? I'm just going to go and compliment somebody in another room right now. I'm just going to go check in and see if anybody needs anything. I'm going to go send a text to a friend that says, I'm really glad that you're my friend. Interrupt it and have a replacement thought. And if you start going down this path of, yeah, I'm really not feeling great about myself, have that replacement thought. If you start worrying about money, have the replacement thought, the personal mantra, which is money comes easily and effortlessly to me. Everything always works out for me. Everything is happening in the right time for me. I love that the universe is abundant and I know that miracles happen. Have those replacement thoughts. Okay, I know I'm totally getting behind. So with your piece of paper right now, I'm not going to spend too much time, but I do want you to actually have some activity, or if you're driving, just think about a negative thought that you think about a lot, and then what's a replacement thought. So if one of your negative thoughts is, I'm so fat, your replacement thought is, I love when I feel healthy. I love choosing healthy foods. I love that I am in control, and I love that anything is possible, and that I could wake up tomorrow and not want to have sugar and want just to eat healthy food. Anything is possible. So what's that negative thought? I hate my job. Replacement thought is, I am so grateful that I have a job that is helping me pay my rent and my mortgage and my food while I work on my passion project. What's another negative thought? That I never have enough time. I'm so stressed. I'm so tired. A replacement thought is, I am so excited. I have so many activities that I love doing. I have the ability to manage my time and prioritize. And there are lots of tools out there that can help me. So there are all kinds of replacement thoughts. So hopefully you have done a few of them. And if not, again, you can always come back to this. You can always come back and do it later. But again, try to do it today, because you don't want to lose the opportunity to do the practice. Like I say, you have to build the raft before you get out into the stormy waters. So don't try to build this when you're having the negative thought. Know it before you get there. And if you can't think of a replacement thought, one of my favorite mantras is, I am enough. Just whatever negative thought you have, even if it's about meetings or it's about people or it's about traffic, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. You cannot say that sentence enough. I am enough. And you'll be surprised at how well that works. So then there's self-compassion. So even when you're super frustrated and there's something going on and you really can't sort of bang yourself out of it with the snap of a rubber band, and something is really hard, then the thing is to have mindfulness about it, have a feeling of common humanity, that other people go through this too, that life isn't always about being super happy and things are always going to be perfect, and then having self-kindness. So the research suggests that people who respond with compassion to their own flaws and setbacks, even to thinking negatively. Don't say, oh my God, I'm always thinking negatively again. No, no. You know what? This is my old brain. This is my old brain that is making me think this way. This is my ancestral brain. And you know what? I'm practicing. I'm working on this. I'm getting better at it every day. So don't beat yourself up, because you'll experience greater physical and mental health. Now, I think we have a few minutes that you could do a self-compassion letter and identify something that you don't like about yourself. And the reality is we all have it. So I'm not going to say pretend that you don't have it, but let us look at it. And what is that one thing that you really struggle with? Whether it's hating exercise, or whether it's something about your appearance, or something about your lack of ambition, or just something you're really struggling with. Identify that, and then write out exactly what you would say to someone you love who told you that. So if someone said, I just am really feeling sick to my stomach about how I look and how I eat, and I'm just not feeling good about myself, what would you say to someone that you really love and that you want to help? You'd probably say, gosh, I know that that's really tough, but you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. It doesn't matter what you look like. And we can help you. Let's think about ways that you can feel better about yourself, but just know that your appearance isn't who you are. And we want you to feel good and feel healthy, but people don't love you because you are 20 pounds overweight or 20 pounds less underweight, or 20 pounds lighter. Nobody likes you. You are not the beautiful person that you are because of how you look, or because whether nobody's going to like you more because you have that flaw or don't have that flaw. What would you say to someone that you really love and you wanted to make them feel better? Because we are way kinder to people, to other people, and to the people we love than we are to ourselves. So if you don't have time to do that now, then it is something to do later, but I'll give you just a minute to think about that. What is something that you would say to someone you love? And again, keep this near you, because you're going to come up with that thought. That thought is going to come up probably later today. What are the words that you're going to say? What are those replacement thoughts that you would say to somebody else? Because you're going to say them to yourself. All right. I am going to tell you that I am wrapping up. So you guys, please do that letter later to yourself, that self-compassion letter. Tell yourself what you would say to someone you love, because I want to wrap up with a question that I get. So people send me questions. You can send me a question anytime to Stacey at Happier by the Minute. And I love to answer them, because a lot of people have the same questions and I would give them the same answers. So I got from Tina, how can I teach this to my kids? Well, I have put on my website, you can download, and I think it's on Instagram. There's lots of places where you can download it for free, a tip sheet with 11 different tips on how to have happier kids by the minute. But I will tell you, the very first one is to be a happier parent. And that is, it seems so obvious, and yet it's real. And luckily, all of you that are here are people that are working to build your happiness skills. And as you're building your happiness skills, that's what your kids are going to see. So if you are having self-compassion for yourself, then you're going to have better self-compassion for them, or compassion for them. You're going to show them, like, when you're having self-compassion and you're struggling with something, tell them about it. Go through it with them. Show them. Say, gosh, you know what? I just had a really negative thought about myself. And I know that that is not good for my brain. It's not good for my heart. It's not good for my body. And so I'm going to do something called self-compassion. And I'm going to tell myself, you know what? You're trying to get better. You're working on that. It's okay, but let's have a replacement thought for that. And tell them what your replacement thought is. And then the next time that they say something like, I can't do this, say, gosh, remember that time when mommy or daddy had that thought and I told you I had that replacement thought? What's your replacement thought right now? What is that? And by the way, depending on how young or old they are, they may not be able to come up with it right away. And again, it's a practice. All of this is a practice for you, for them, for me every day. You know, I don't have it all, you know, perfect. These are tools I use every single day. And, you know, even with my sons who say, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. I think you can, and keep telling yourself, I can if I keep trying. And as soon as they do figure it out, oh, I make a really big deal of them telling themselves, did you do it? Tell yourself, I can do it. I was able to do it because I kept trying. So give them the words. And so modeling, you know, modeling a happier parent is gratitude, and doing the gratitude with them. So when you're doing your 3 things at night before you go to bed or while you're brushing your teeth, do it as a family. Get out a book and do it as a family every day. Affirmations are great. If you're doing affirmations in the window, you can do them in the window, but do them in the mirror. Have them do it in the mirror. And so, you know, maybe you make a game out of it and you say, let's do a game. I'm going to say one I am affirmation, and then you say one I am, and then I'll say one I am, and then you say one I am affirmation. So, you know, I am strong, and they say I am brave, or, you know, or they repeat you. You can really make a whole game out of it. So, you know, all of these tools that I've been teaching, and again, you have got 17 other ones that you can do. Whoops, I have 16 on there. That's not true. It's 17. That you can go back and look at those lessons and do them with your kids. And that is how you're going to have happier kids. So you can go to that website. You can download that website, happierbytheminute.com. Again, I think it's on the Instagram and Facebook. It's free. There are 11 tips. And actually what I did is I printed it on 8.5 by 11. And so it prints out for 2 of them, and you can cut it down the middle and put one on your fridge and give one to a friend, and she can put it on her fridge, or he can put it on his fridge. And again, they're little things. And when I pass them out at wellness fairs with other parents, they're always like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And what a great reminder. And gosh, I really need to do this more often. And it's like, yeah, you just have to have it in front of you. And so again, that's why I like to put it in ways that are right in front of you, on your mirror, on your dashboard, on your refrigerator. You have to surround yourself with it to make it a habit. So again, super happy that you joined me. And I really, really want you to be able to come every week, because we learn something new every week. We join together. We're a community that's learning and practicing together. So it's really easy to join on my website, Happier by the Minute. That way you get a reminder, you know when it's coming. And then of course it's live on Facebook. So again, would love for you to share this on your social media, not just for me, but to tell people, what is it that you got out of today? What is it? What's one little nugget that you can just plant a seed with somebody else, with some of your followers, with some of your friends? What's one little seed that if you told them today, they might say, wow, that is one little thing that I can do differently to be happier? Because when we know better, we do better. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Again, I want to get you in and out in half an hour so you know that it's really easy to practice happiness. Have a fabulous day.